think it's almost 7:05.
Yeah, well, it is.
We'll come to order, please. Hi, everyone. A lot of familiar faces. This is fun. Where are we?
Slide 1. You want to go to your slide?
Yeah. So I just, I think a number of people came.
You can just look here.
Oh, I can look here instead of having to do that? Thank you. Tonight's meeting was scheduled to be about the bathhouse and the shoreline restoration. And we have pushed it out. I said this in the newsletter, but we had to push it out in part because we are waiting for some decisions from the property division of Parks and Rec of what is really feasible for us to do. So hopefully we'll know tomorrow. Brendan and I have a call with Parks tomorrow, so hopefully we'll have some decisions and we can reschedule that meeting for November. I think it's November 11th. I know a number of you also came last week at Park Shore. We had about 200 people show up for the meeting for the One Seattle plan, and Joy Hollingsworth came, and the Office of Community Development, there's another part to that. OPCD came, Planning and Community Development came and answered some questions about how this plan impacts our neighborhood, how it impacts Madison Park. So if you want to get involved more in that process or have any questions, please come and talk to me. It's an ongoing process right now. Before the city council, they've moved on from passing the first phase of the One Seattle plan. They are now in budget discussions, and the budget for 2026 will be decided by November, I think it is 21st. And we want to have some money set aside, dedicated to really have more neighborhood planning, have the communities more involved with what the implementation will be in each neighborhood center. There are 30 neighborhood centers, and Madison Park is one of them. Okay, you can just, okay, the treasurer report. Come on up, Lee. Lee is our, you may want to give this tidbit, but Lee is now our treasurer. Thank you. And she's been doing a lot of work to be, sure what we had in 2023, 2024, and where we stand in 2025.
Yeah, so I took over for Diane Buckley, who resigned from the position, and she and I did a lot of work to get all of the financial transactions into QuickBooks. So got them done through the first quarter of 2025. And I'm figuring we've got a couple Mariners games coming up where you can do a lot of data entry while they're changing around in the innings. So I am hoping to have that all ready to go sooner rather than later, depending on if they go 7 games or not. Anyway, so the financial stuff is up there. Let's see, I was going to say something else. Oh, the 990, which is the return that we need to file. It's an information return with the IRS. We're now large enough where we no longer do the postcard, but we do the EZ, which I'm preparing it now. It is not an easy. It is not much less. It's not much less difficult than the full-blown 990. Anyway, that should be completed by the end of this month, so we'll get that filed. It isn't due till November 15th, so it'll be on time. Let's see what else I was going to say. Oh, so we are going to start looking. So we have over $200,000 in cash right now. So we're going to be looking at investing some of that in short-term investments to try to earn a little investment income on that. Any questions? Yes.
Oh,
questions?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Okay.
Yes, Claire. What was your very important financial question?
Well You have a question?
Yes, if you invested, does that impact your 990 in the future?
No.
That's okay.
No. If we had like $1 million and we were investing it, that'd be a different story.
We'll probably get that.
We'll
I'll
probably
take
get
it.
Next year.
Next year.
Also, I did want to point out, so we have a deficit at the end of the first quarter. That's pretty normal, because our big fundraising event, which by all the people in here who are involved, way to go, happens in the fall. There's a change in there again. Anyway, anybody has any questions? Some of you know where I live. Yes.
So there's, what did you say, about 200 in there now?
Yeah, 200 and
What's it budgeted for?
It's for bathhouse renovation and more activities for Madison Park.
All the activities for Madison.
Well, some of them are self-sustaining.
And just to keep in mind, when we started, we had $3,000. So the support from the community has been just overwhelmingly wonderful. And it will allow us to get to the next stage on conceptual ideas and for the renovation and the restoration of the beach, which is huge for us. And every event gets bigger and better, as you can see.
More Easter eggs.
I know, we're gonna need like 10 Madison next year, and a bigger park, so.
All right, so any questions, please ask. There are no dumb questions, no bad questions. And if you see me in the street, say hello.
All right, party for the park.
Okay. Speaking of raising money, I was just gonna give a recap on Party for the Park. Just to start off with the best news, we raised $140,000. So that's incredible. Our sponsors were amazing. Our donors were amazing. So many businesses in our community reached out, immediately said, yes, we want to donate this. We had incredible packages, baskets, awesome donations. We had our platinum sponsor, which was Woodside Travel and Explora Journeys. They donated a cruise. So that was our big item that we auctioned off. It was very exciting. We had Picklewood is a new pickleball facility going in Soto, and locals, the Talbots, who have been very involved in Friends of Madison Park, and also Ethan Stoll have founded that, and they donated an auction item for that. We had just incredible items. So that was awesome. And then those paddles were just going up and donating money. It was a really fun night. The Jennings Jazz Duo played. They're right here in the neighborhood. You guys have probably seen them at Parlor and other places. We had my friend Ben Linford do DJing at the end. We had incredible food. Cafe Flora provided desserts. It was just like a really local community event, and it was fabulous. So, if you know of anybody who'd like to be a sponsor for next year or would like to donate something awesome for next year, I think we're doing it again next fall. So it just depends on that Husky schedule. We have to wait for the Husky schedule to come out. We don't want to compete for that evening. So anyway, I know some of you were there, and thank you so much. I know other people just donated even though they couldn't make it. And yeah, thank you so much. Anybody has any questions?
The farmers
Hi, everybody. I'm Johnny. I was the, I'm sure most of you know me, but I was the market manager for the Madison Park Farmers Market. This is Doug, the big man, my boss. Yeah, don't clap for him, please. Go right through his head. First off, it was a lot more relaxed today.
Did you guys get applause last time you were here?
Absolutely. Maybe.
We got it at Party for the Park. Yeah, you did. Oh my gosh, big applause at Party for the Park.
That's really sweet. Yeah, I heard all about it. Fantastic. Incredible. Anyways, during, I don't remember exactly the day, I think it was the second week of August, we did a dot survey, which I'm sure some of you did while you were there. And it's a simple process where there's a bunch of big old notepads, and we just give people stickers, and they answer them that way. This has been something, you know how long we've been doing these surveys?
It's a program that was built designed by the USDA. That's used by a number of farmers markets across the country. And it's a quick, interactive, but very fun way to get people's opinions without having to be too technical. And we've done it at our 3 other markets twice in 5-year intervals. And so we can see the difference in the bike. This is the first time at Madison Park. And so we'll be able to, we're going to share a lot of data with you about how this season has been, but also we'll also be doing more dot surveys in the future.
And normally this isn't like consumer-facing reports either. Like we use it internally. We use it to show other businesses. If we like try to do a market there, we'll use it for other farmers markets who are trying to pop up, just to give them more data. So there's a little bit of stuff in here that probably wouldn't care about, but then there's a handful of stuff in the back of it that was changed a little bit. I'll give one to you guys up here. If you guys want to pass some of these around, you take a look while I'm talking about it. First thing, I guess, is what I would like to talk about is. What's that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Share?
Yeah. Sorry to make you share. In this kindergarten.
We will be sharing this with the friends, and they'll be able to put it out.
Yeah. This full thing we'll give to you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I also want to say thank you for being such a huge proponent of getting this market off the ground. Friends of Madison Park, huge. Would not have happened without you guys. And even more so to like the people in the neighborhood. It was a resounding success for us, I think, overall. And we were expecting a little bit less, but it was, yeah, overall really incredible. Just a couple of stats for you. We had 27 total vendors over the course of 16 different weekends, so only 16 market days. And a singular crafter, Anne Britton. I was hoping she was going to be here today to give her a little shout out. Which is great. It's lovely. We estimated around like 30,000 or so total visitors throughout all of those days. It's not a very specific science of how we count how many people are in the market, so it's a very, very liberal estimate. And overall total about like 80,000 sales combined from all vendors, which is over only 16 days is great. It's a fantastic number. Getting to a couple of the graphs. The first biggest one probably, is how far do people live? And 80% of people were from 3 miles or less, and 57% were less than a mile, which is crazy. This is also something we talk a lot about in the lead up to this, is like, this is what we expect from these survey results. And happy to say we were correct. But mostly just because it means that this is a very close-knit community. Like, this isn't a market that is a destination for a lot of people, so to say. People who are coming to our markets are coming because they are from this community. Great. I also really liked the data about how often people come to this market. The 2 biggest ones were every single week at 31%, which is great. And then the other one that I really liked was that it was their first visit to the market, which was also at 31%. I don't know, I just thought that was really fun. It was really good. It just shows like a really good balance of people who come every single week, but there's still people who get interested in it every single week, I'm assuming by word of mouth. I don't know how much our funny rinky-dink little signs with the cinder blocks did, but maybe
They're still up.
I got them all today. They're eyes. You don't got to look at those eyesoles. And then the other one that was also very important to us, which was how much money people are going to spend at the surrounding businesses. A whopping 25% said 20 to 50 bucks, but I think the more fun data set is that only 8% of people said they were not going to spend money at the surrounding business. And so that tells us that people who are coming to the market are more than likely going to be spending money at surrounding businesses before or after the market, which is great. I've said this plenty of times, but we are aware that we were guests in this neighborhood. This is not our neighborhood, we're guests. And to see that it would, at least what people are saying, that it would most likely support the surrounding businesses is great and something that we desire. to support economic growth overall, not just for our farmers, of course, which is important to us, but for you guys as community members and your guys' businesses. I feel like those were a lot of my favorite ones.
Well, how did you get here?
Yeah, I was just about to say the how do you get here one, because parking was a very big issue, which is understandable. I'm not going to knock it, but of the about like 500 or so people that took the survey, 300 of them, or 60%, said they walked, which is, I think, the highest we've seen for any of our surveys. Yeah, it's great. That's incredible. So many people. Only about 30% said they drove. And there's carpooling. We've got 13 people apparently were skateboarding on the way. And then 2 people said other, so I don't know if they flew or what's going on in that world. But yeah, that's most of the findings that we have and most of the key takeaways we took from all the data that we gathered. Does anybody have any questions about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
How does this compare to like other first-time markets of like the vendors being happy with it? It seems like the crowd, like the people who went had positive things to say. Like, how did it go for the vendors like compared to others?
Yeah, I can tell you from personal experience, after, I think it must have been like the first or second week, we also run the Ballard Farmers Market, which is a very, very big market. And I was a vendor for about 6 years before I started managed markets, so I was very familiar with so many of these vendors. And I cannot count on one hand the amount of vendors who came up to me afterward who weren't at Madison Park and were like, how do I get in? It sounds pretty good, because word got around from other vendors that were like, this is a small market, but the community is really coming out and supporting it. Not only did they feel the love like financially, but they felt the love just in general. I know one of our vendors, Bright Thread Farm, they like started doing a pop-up with Parlor Wines, where they started coming. I don't know how often it is.
It was just the last weekend was the first one, I think.
And I know they're going to do a couple more as well too throughout the season. But like that's awesome. Like I personally did not facilitate that. That just happened because this market was so good for them and they sought it out. So I can say that all of our vendors were ecstatic about how this market went. Yeah.
From the market's perspective,
Yeah, please.
we could have doubled to tripled the market size for the amount of people who wanted to be in by the time the market was up and running. We had a lot of interest, we had a lot of desire to have more people here, more vendors. A lot of our other market vendors said, I want to be a part of this. And so they really value that. And we look at each market as its own separate neighborhood. And that was the purpose, and that was what we were telling the neighborhood when we were proposing this a year and a half ago. We really worked hard for a year. So, congratulations on keeping your job.
What's the closest other farmers market?
So that is something I want to say is the closest one is Madison or Madrona. Now Madrona, we run Madrona, and I truthfully have a little expectation, or I was expecting it to have a little dip because of the proximity. Most of the farmers markets, I work with the other organizations, and there's 18 farmers markets in the city, and there's 47 in the county. And so we work with all of them, and we have an agreement that we don't tread on anybody else's. We do no harm is what we cause. And so we never want to have a farmer's market more than a mile or less than a mile to each other, because it really does support individual neighborhoods. And Madrona is more than a mile. It's 3 miles.
Down on MLK?
Yeah, in that grocery outlet parking lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Very surprisingly, I'm happy to say that Madrona had its best year ever. And so there was no effect from this market. But as a compliment to this neighborhood, this market is half the size of Madrona, and there were a number of weeks that this market outperformed Madrona. Yeah, so for half the size, for half the size, it did twice as much for a few weeks. It was very much right up there.
Yeah.
And so we were extremely surprised, but also we were not surprised that the neighborhood wanted to support the market. Octavia has been working very diligently and hard to bring it about. And even up till the week before, we didn't know that it would happen. So, but we never gave up. And with this data, the next step is I'll be going back to the city and sharing it with them because they believed in it. They listened to all of the surveys that you did and all of the information that we gave. And specifically, the data that he shared was 100% what we told this group at the beginning of the spring and fall. We said, this is a community, they're going to walk. We're not going to bring that much outsiders in. You don't drive from West Seattle to come over here to buy your frozen meat. It's only to support this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it did. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, agreed, yeah.
Thank you.
I was going to say, as like a personal side, this shows a lot of like financial data, and that's good that the finances were good for the farmers and the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. But also community engagement in building is very important to me personally, and it seemed like that's also something that the data wouldn't show, but necessarily. But like it seemed like that's a lot of what this market was as well. Even if there weren't people who were like spending money, I saw so many people just like hanging out, chit-chatting, just like being with their neighbors, and to like be able to provide that, I think is an extremely important thing. And this neighborhood like really took that to heart, and I think used it in that way as well too, which is great.
Farms by nature are struggling. A small farmer by nature, during the pandemic, there was a huge wave of elderly people, older farmers that retired. And so there was a huge dip. There's some younger generation that are trying to get into farming, but it's hard. To go to the grocery store and to buy produce from the grocery store, on average, that farmer gets 23 cents per dollar that's sold. Because of the middle person, because of the retail. To the farmers, our job is to give opportunities to that farmer to make a living and to be able to be profitable. These farmers that came here every week, they got 91 cents per dollar goes back to them.
As opposed to grocery stores and whatnot, where it's around 30 or so %. Is that the right statistic? Yeah.
23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's nationwide. So
Yeah.
we're here just to support the farmers and to bring them directly to create a relationship to their consumers directly.
Yeah. Yeah, which you guys clearly did.
You did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you for having us this year. Thank you for supporting us. And yeah.
So maybe this is looking too far in advance or ahead. Sounds like demand is there for more vendors. In the future, do you anticipate expanding this, blocking off more streets, or is it, should we not even go down that?
I was actually, I was going to bring that up as well too, because there is the demand for larger markets and whatnot. We don't have anything set in place. We haven't talked really internally yet about what next year is going to look like. We do want to come back next year. Maybe in a different way, in a better way, we're hoping. I want to set expectations, and I don't want to make promises I can't keep, or get my boss mad at me for saying but I mean, I think there is a desire to see how much more we can do, whether that's like size or length or I floated the idea, and I am going to put this on you, that I wanted to do what was called a harvest market, which some other markets do, where it's usually like one big pop-up the week before Thanksgiving, which is great for farmers. It's the end of their like harvest season, hence a harvest market. That's something I would really like to implement on, so I'll put that on you now. But but as far as the rest of it goes, yes, there is a desire to, but I don't want to make any promises in case things don't work out.
The one thing of which I will guarantee is that it will not be 16 weeks next year. It will be, our standard market runs 20 to 24. And so we will open earlier and we'll go later in the season. So that I can guarantee is we'll look at that. As for moving streets, that's a huge conversation of which we need to, like this year, we are very sensitive to what the neighborhood wants. Because yes, we are very stubborn sometimes to say we're not going to give up on the street, but on the other aspect, we also have to work with the neighborhood. We're going to pay on it.
And there's good reasons to stay on that street. There's good reasons to go to a different street. There's a lot to consider, and kind of balance and juggle and think about what's best for not only this neighborhood, but also like the farmers and the market in general. And I'm not sure, also, as a quick aside, I'm not sure if it was ever communicated, but the shorter length of the market, both in amount of dates and the hours and the location, were all very much a negotiation to our original plans, being on Madison Avenue. Is that the name? No, Madison Street. Okay. Originally being over there, and this is very much a negotiation to pilot you, see how it goes. And
But when Octavia came to me, this street was her original idea, is being on that street. And so.
You won again.
She brought her dream.
If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
But on the other aspect, we find that what we have to work through is we cannot bring a farmer's market before they have produce. It just doesn't, it's not a good way. We try to get as early in the season, based upon what we can see the season might be on the forecast of when harvest begin. And we also do it on the back end, how long farmers can go. Ballard is unique because of the size. We're able to go year round because we bring farmers from all four corners of the state. We don't bring anything to a farmer's market that's not grown in Washington. And so everything that comes here, you'll never see avocados or papaya.
Yeah. Even our hot and prepared food vendors, we hold to a certain standard that they must source a majority, or not a majority, but a large percentage of their ingredients from Washington State farms is what to do. Yeah.
I believe that Octavia is doing and working on a survey to make sure, see what the impact is to other businesses.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
But we want to see that so that we can go to the city with how the neighborhood, but also the impact of how we get on the city and stuff like that. So those are lots of factors that factor in about what we do with the market. But we never want to, when we grow a market, we want to make sure that it's not going to diminish the sales for the farmers. There is a threshold that they need to make it profitable for them to participate. And we look at every single one. I won't bring in a second bread vendor or a meat vendor if it's going to diminish the first one to where it's not profitable for them.
Yeah, I think quite often throughout the year I got questions of, can we make Madison Park a year-round market? And I think without mincing words, I would be relatively honest with people and be like, I just don't see the possibility of it because of all the things Doug had just said. And besides, you guys were just talking about, oh, you missed it this past week, so you miss it a lot. So when it comes back, it's even.
Who misses the farmer's market?
Very sweet. Did I see another question? I thought I saw somebody's hand.
How many more vendors could you have put in that same block?
That's a good question. We actually started off in that packet. You'll see a little vendor map, which is actually something we don't normally distribute to customers. It's for our vendors to know where they set up. And that map is actually slightly out of date because we added, I think, an extra 4 or 5 spots throughout the season. And as far as more on that street, I don't know how doable it is, but there's other things we're thinking about.
You can't put them on the other side?
The reason we are limited on size is we have to keep a fire lane.
Yeah, there's a 20-foot gap in the middle of the street that we legally have to keep open. And so it's also hard asking vendors to be like, hey, can you set up in this weird uneven ground where you're half on the curb and half not, And some vendors it's fine, but I'm not gonna put somebody who's cooking food over on those spots, you know what I mean? Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Yeah. Thank you.
Truly, the farmer's market at the Party for the Park was.
It's all because of you guys. We just were there and had some vendors there. But you guys yeah, please, yeah.
Another one right here. So
Yeah.
one second.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Next is Meg, and she's going to talk about Little Beats and McGilver Fall Ball.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had our first Little Beats concert on October 4th with Recess Monkey, and we had about 100 or so attendees, which was great. So we have another really fun lineup planned. Again, first Saturday of the month, So thankful to Pioneer Hall again for offering to host us for free, which is wonderful. And then we had 3 amazing sponsors step up, Park Shore, All That Dance, and Sunshine Music, who basically helped cover the cost of our musicians, which is fabulous. So yeah, we still, I think, have ticket packages for sale, and then it's $5 at the door. So yeah, so please help spread the word, as always. And then my kids are in 4th grade at McGillivray this year, so I always love putting a plug out for our wonderful little elementary school in the neighborhood, and Octavian Friends is always so supportive. We are doing a fall ball, inaugural on November 8th. I think pre-COVID, my kids weren't there yet. They did some sort of fall festival, so we're kind of trying to bring it back. And the idea here is that it's a community event, free entry. We're gonna have a dance party, carnival games, a cakewalk, a food truck, and so lots of fun activities, but we really do want this to be a community event, and we would love especially young families to come from the neighborhood who are interested in McGillivray, interested in learning more about the school, to attend. So if you could help us spread the word on that as well. We'll be putting flyers up around the neighborhood. And yeah, exciting times. Thank you all for your support.
And Little Beats is super cute, so if you just mosey by there, and even if you don't have little kids to take, it's
Oh yeah,
fun.
please pop in.
The musicians are super talented, and my husband and I were there, and our kids were not interested, but we still watched and enjoyed it. Our kids are big.
I love the next slide. Thank you, Kevin.
Am I speaking to this poster?
Yes, you are.
What is happening? Oh my God.
How do you do that?
It's been a long time tradition in Madison Park that the businesses hand out candy for the little people to do easy trick-or-treating. We thought that's amazing, but actually, like all these things in Madison Park, the number of attendees has been growing, the event's been getting bigger and wilder, and so kids are starting to, as they will, kind of like mosey into the street. There's parents crossing with little people. So we thought, let's make this event a little bit safer, and let's make the event kind of even bigger. So we are going to have a block party. We're going to block off the very tail end of Madison down to 43rd, so that kids can wander around and trick-or-treat at all the businesses. We're going to have a DJ. We will also have a pup parade. Cecilia, would you like to speak to the pup parade?
We will have a pup parade.
For costumed pups, and will there be awards? Are there going to be awards? Are we?
No.
No awards. Okay, every pup is a winner, but there are pictures.
4 p.m. At the tennis court, we will have our pup parade leader, Sarah, kick things off with her doggies, and we will come and parade through the area. And there will be a fun photo opportunity for the dogs, most likely at Triangle Park. So it should be a fun opportunity.
And as if that wasn't enough, we've also gotten a street closure on 41st Street so that there can be a short, again, 4 to 6 p.m. Place for kids to trick or treat with a little bit more, autonomy and fun. So bring your kids, bring your grandkids, spread the word. It should be a fun, safe, trick-or-treating Halloween event.
Don't you leave it up for just 1 more second.
Brendan, is this your costume?
I'm K-pop this year, so.
Oh, that's me. Let's see. We've got work parties coming up. One is our fall cleanup. I think it's buried under here. Yes, in November 15th, Saturday, November 15th. That's, if anybody's walking down the streets in the business area right now, leaves are starting to fall. It's looking a little bit rummy. So that's our day to sweep, to weed, to clean up. I also have in my backyard now 10 flats of plants, no, more than that. I have a lot of flats of plants to go in under the trees on the Triangle Park block, and a lot of crocus bulbs are going to go in, so next spring there's going to be a lot more greenery even than this year, and the planters are getting fixed up over the next couple of weeks. Prospect Preserve, there is a work party this weekend. I've got also about 60 plants in my backyard to be planted at Prospect Preserve. If you know where that is, Dan knows where that is. It's right behind the Seattle Tennis Club, and it's one of the street-in parks. And over the last few years, it's been transformed from a blackberry bush, mini blackberry bushes, repository for all sorts of stuff, to actually a beautiful street-in park. And if you are game for coming for an hour, up to 3 hours, planting ferns, planting thrifts, planting some native plants, doing a little mulching and weeding this Saturday, we could really use the help from 9 to 12. Okey-doke, what's next? Oh,
If you haven't been over there, go check it out. It's really beautiful.
it is quite beautiful. This Saturday here, there is a Pilates class at 10:30, and this is to raise funds for breast cancer awareness. So they're on our website, and a flyer here. It's an hour-long class. I think it's led by Jenna Ferguson, who runs the Madison Park Pilates studio. If you want to come and get a workout, a good workout, and also be donating for breast cancer research, please come and join, 10:30. And also, this is not in our neighborhood, but we have been talking about doing a turkey trot around Thanksgiving time, a little short course for a race for kids. We found out that Montlake does a turkey trot, and all the funds that are raised for that go to the University District Food Bank. So we are joining forces with them and promoting the turkey trot. I think it's November, which date?
It's on Thanksgiving.
Is it on
Is it not?
Thanksgiving? No. I didn't put that on there. Well, I'll let you know, it's on the website.
We're also working on like a meetup spot if people
Yes.
from the neighborhood want to meet up and do the race together, or not the race, the run together. Brad is helping with that in the run club.
And there's a 5K and a 1K for kids.
And then a half K, I think, for kids.
Oh,
too.
is there?
I think so.
Okay, could be. Anyway, if you're a runner, or if your kids just want to try it, this
Or a
would be-
walker. Yeah.
Or a walker, that's true. Okay, next, music in the park, just.
So we had a great music series this year. It was we had 4 nights, 4 Thursdays, and a great slate of bands. I think we had the most turnout we've ever had, which was really exciting to see. I think our biggest number was around 350. We also, similar to the farmers market, have a imprecise counting method, which is mostly just eyeballing, but definitely the biggest crowds we've seen since we started doing this again, and probably before when they were doing the concerts before pre-COVID. We also raised quite a lot in cash donations, which was great. And we had some really great sponsors who, some of them had tables, and some of them Cactus and Attic also sponsored. So just a really successful event. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and next year we're hoping to make improvements and make it even bigger and better. So we're looking at things like improving the staging, improving like the sound systems, and all those things obviously come with the requirement of more money. So we're looking at sponsors. We've kind of already started the process of looking at who we can ask and who we can reach out to, and who we can ask for more money who's already sponsored. The other thing I'll mention is that we have opened the application process for bands already. So we're trying to kind of try to get ahead. Bands book up really quickly for the summer, as we've found out, and so we're kind of trying to get ahead of that this year. So we have already opened the application portal. It's on our website. I think it should be. I'll double check. If it's not right now, it will be soon. So if you know of a band who you think would be a good fit, or if you're in a band and you think you would be a good fit, there's just a short application that you can submit through the website. And yeah, if you went to any of the concerts, and I hope you all made it to at least one, and have any feedback, it could be band like genres of music that you were hoping to see that you didn't. Feel free to reach out to me and let me know, and we'll take that all into account for next year. Thank you.
Who misses music in the park?
It's so much fun this summer in particular.
Yeah.
When do we not have fun together, guys? But we had a lot of fun doing a lot of cool events over the summer, and we have even more cool events coming up, including Halloween that Brendan mentioned. If anybody would like to volunteer to help pass out candy, help pass out glow sticks, or help make sure the cars don't squash anybody, we are looking for volunteers for October 31st. If you want to help come set up, we're starting with the volunteers around 3 p.m. If you want to sign up for that, reach out to me at volunteer@Friends of Madison Park. So setup starts around 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. The event is 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then we'll be cleaning up 6 p.m., 7 p.m. And then we'll be like, they never knew we were there. So try to make it reset. So that's the main one. And then we have some really fun plans in the works for the holidays. So if anybody would like to be a part of the holiday planning, we're getting that going right now. And then we will probably have some cool events coming up that we might need volunteers for closer to, but more information to come there. But thanks, guys.
Okay, I do want to throw in one plug on holiday festivities, needing more people probably to volunteer with the planning. We have on December 13th, McGilvra students are going to come back down. We'll light the tree again in the park, and the McGilvra students will come and sing. And we'll need help with passing out cookies and cider. Suzanne's a pro at this. She's done it.
And no rain that night.
And no rain, and no mud, no nothing, and the lights will work. So anyway, if you want to get involved in that, that would be great. So the next speakers are about the emergency hub. Rachel.
Hello, I'm Rachel.
I'm Katrina. We are part of the Madison Park Madison Park Emergency Communications Hub. They're actually changing the name because everybody's stumbling over that. So I think we're going to be going with Emergency Hub. So you'll be seeing some rebranding on that. Who knows about the Emergency Hub and what it is? Oh, good.
That's great.
You do. It's really a group of people, we're all volunteer, who come together, who try to create a space so that when something happens, you can all come to, does anybody know where we're set up and where our box is? Yes, right over by the tennis court, great. Where we'll convene, we have stations that will be set up, and you can get information, and we'll share information and share resources. Do you want to add anything to that?
We just want to make sure that everybody knows that it's going to be dawn to dusk. If an emergency happens, we'll be there dawn to dusk. And throughout the time that we'll be needing to set up, and we don't know if that's going to be one day, if it's going to be a week long, it depends on the severity of the event. We'll hopefully gain more involvement and more awareness from the community through each day. But we're planning to be pretty fluid, and we want to make sure we're meeting the needs of the community too. So if there's anything that you think of, or if there is any interest in volunteering or getting connected with our group, please reach out. We'd love to have you.
And the last slide that you'll see has our email communication available to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with a little quiz with a few little items that we're wondering if you can help us or tell us what you think they might be used for. So everybody see what this is? Yeah. Anybody know what it would be used for in an emergency? Treatment for water. Yes. And for everybody, we just got a few of these. But the people who answered first get a little bit more. You get your own drop a whole lot of information.
Okay, I'll go next. We have 3 more of these. Coffee filter. What could you use a coffee filter for in an emergency?
Coffee.
In addition to making coffee, which is an emergency in its own, what other emergency could you use this for?
Clearing water.
Correct. Nice job.
Yes,
Let's go.
There you go. All right. Anybody know what this is and what we would use it for.
Water.
Water, right? You got it.
There's a theme. Yep.
So this is an example of an item that you could use for storing water and keeping it available for you.
Okay, last one. Obviously this is a hose, so that's not the correct answer, but it's a specific hose for a specific purpose. Does anybody want to take a guess at what it could be used for? Yeah.
Get it out of your hot water tank.
Nice. Okay, you guys are all experts. You don't even need us anymore.
All right.
But yeah, exactly right. We wanted to focus today. We'd like to spread the word more about the emergency hub in general, and wanted a more like fun activity to do that with, or like a topic to talk about. Obviously, we're talking about water and water preparation. Do you have anything else to do?
Yeah, let me just, I'm a registered nurse, and so from a health perspective, I don't think people realize how challenging it is to go without water. That you can go 3 weeks without food and survive. You can only go 3 days without water and survive. So recognizing the importance of water and having it available in an emergency is just something that you really need to keep in mind. So it's even more important. Make sure I got this right. The amount of water that we need is a gallon per person per day. And half of that is used for consuming, half of it is used, and then a quarter of it is used for hygiene, and the other quarter is used for food preparation. So Rachel's going to take us through sort of an exercise so you can help figure out what that means. And bear in mind that if there's an earthquake or some kind of traumatic event to the earth, it's likely to crack the water lines, and so the water itself that's going to be available may not be good. So the whole concept of what do you need to do to filter the water or to disinfect the water is an important thing to keep in mind. So we're hoping that we can teach you a little bit about what you can do to be prepared and what supplies you might need.
Sure. So there's 3 big things that we need to consider with water in an emergency. So the first one is how much water do we need, which I'll get to that in a second. Second, where are we going to put this water that we need, because you can't just put it in a glass cup and call it good. And third, how are we going to keep the water clean, or how are we going to filter the water and make sure it is clean. So the first part, doing the math around how much water you need for your household. Like Katrina said, the first part is on a human side, 1 gallon per person per day. So multiplying how many people are in your household by, we're not going to know how many days we're going to need water for, but if you estimated, what if we needed water for a week, or what if we needed water for 2 weeks? That's already either 7 or 14 gallons per person that you're going to need to have.
And they do recommend that you plan for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because if there's a major disaster, we're likely kind of on our own for the first couple of weeks, so being prepared is important.
Totally. Also, I think most people in this neighborhood have pets. I know a lot of you have dogs. I see you walking your dogs all the time. We've also got cats, guinea pigs, birds, flying squirrels. I know people who have flying squirrels. You need 1/3 gallon per pet per day of water, and it's important that we keep them in mind too, because we don't want them to be going thirsty. So already doing the math there for how many humans you've got, how many days, let's use 14 on average, and how many pets you've got. And then from there, where will you store your water? Are you going to keep it in your garage? Or are you going to have it in your closet? Some people keep water in their car, which I think is a good practice to do so. Even a gallon in your car is great. There's some more creative ideas on the screen here. So you could do outside storage in your rain barrel, your garbage can, your shed, car trunk, like I mentioned. Inside would be in your pantry or in a closet, your basement, under your bed if you want to get creative. Does anybody have any other ideas? Any creative ideas where you might be storing water?
I have a quick question. We're storing it in like plastic.
That's another great question, actually, to your question. A couple different ideas. So like what Katrina has here, you can have plastic reserves like this. I have bought just gallons of water, and I live in an apartment, so I have less storage than I probably should. You can also do it in big water reservoirs. Some people have those in their backyard. You can count on your water heater. If you don't have a water or a tankless water heater, you can use that as a backup if you need to. Water bottles. But these are all questions that you can answer by choosing where you're going to store it at. So if you want to store it in your pantry, you're going to need to go smaller. If you want to store it in your garden shed, you might be able to go bigger. So it just depends on your own situation. Yeah.
What about a crawl space?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Places that you think you can access if you've got some kind of an emergency. Yes.
Yeah.
One thing that I discovered as I was working with Sarah Armstrong and Margie Carter, two of our other Madison Park Hub captains, trying to figure out water expires. So in the plastic bottles in particular, I was pretty concerned about that. So you can get canned water that will last for 50 years. So I have 2 cases of that in my garage so that I've got at least enough for my husband and I for, I think that would only get us about a week and a half, so I probably ought to get another case of it. But there, you can get pretty creative, and people are becoming more aware of the needs for emergency preparedness, so I think there are a lot more resources out there, and we've got many of them on our website as well.
I think that covers most of the main points.
Yeah, if you can scroll through quickly to the end, thank you. Well, is that the last slide?
That's the last slide.
Can you tell we had to do a little changing because Margie Carter was supposed to be here and she had a whole nother little story to tell that we were not prepared to tell. So the whole point is we want to be working together to support each other with the concept of mutual aid in an emergency, having a community space to come to so that you can, one, find out, we'll have likely radio contact with the city and find out what's going on around the city. Information like are streets open, are hospitals open, are gas stations open, are stores open, all that kind of information will be available. And so if you're interested in becoming part of the Madison Park Emergency Hub, we welcome volunteers. There's probably an active group of about 8 of us right now, and that's not enough. So if we ever have to erect the hub, we're going to be pulling people in that come and need information and try to get them, recruit them to help us with running the hub. And as Rachel said, we'll be doing this on a daily basis while the need is there. So we like to have like 2 shifts a day so that you don't have somebody who's staying a full 8 hours. So probably 4-hour shifts is kind of what we have in mind. So the whole point is we also need volunteers. So any questions? Yeah.
Where do you buy the hose?
This is Margie's. I will ask her where she got it. I think she talked to the hardware store. I don't know if she doesn't even remember if she got it from the hardware store or not because it's pretty specific. I was at her house yesterday and we tested it. It does fit her water heater, which is awesome. I can find that and I can share it with Octavia and we can maybe put it in the newsletter. It might take a little while for me to find that information out.
So are pools a practical source of water?
That's a good question. If they're chlorine pools, I don't know how you filter the chlorine out.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to use those for drinking, but you could certainly use them for hygiene or trying to clear things out, to clean things up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't use those for consumption. And I think one thing is just to make sure, do you know if you have a hot water heater that has water, or do you have a tankless hot water heater? Because that'll just make you more mindful of what you need in terms of water.
We have some brochures up here if you want to grab one, a little information about the emergency hub. And then we also have a worksheet if you want to make it more fun for how much water you and your family will need. And that way you can post it somewhere. You don't have to do math again, just do math once.
Until your family size changes,
Yeah.
you might have to read
Yeah.
And you frown upon using the lake and filtering that? Like, there's a lot of water there, FYI.
The concern from a consumption standpoint is it's likely to have broken sewer pipes in there, so it's not going to be cleaned. You could, at worst case scenario, you could potentially get it and treat it, but that is not recommended just because of the potential for so much contamination, especially if there's a big earthquake. You don't know what else is going to be in there.
And goose poop.
There's a lot of goose poop.
There's more than
No,
that's
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So I think we're done. I think we got it all. I know. We are efficient. Okay, thank you all for coming tonight. We are scheduled to have our next meeting November 11th, and hopefully at that time we will have the architects and the landscape architects be available for, to talk about the bathhouse and the beach renovation. If not, we're going to, check the newsletter. We'll keep you posted and let you know.
Where's the nearest stream?
Hmm?
Where's the nearest stream?
Stream?
Over in the Arboretum?
I don't know if there's a stream in the Arboretum.
There is, but there's not a lot of water that goes through it.
It doesn't move very fast. You definitely
Yeah,
restrict
yeah,
that.
yeah, that wouldn't.
It was basically.
If we find something that's close by,